What's up, everyone? And this is Next Level Thinking. Hey, what's up, everyone? We're here for another episode of Next Level Thinking. Of course, we have a great location behind us and much more. Today, I have a great inspirational guest, also author by the name of
LaCoshia.
Awesome. So let's dive right into it. We're going to tell a little bit more of this great lady's inspirational story of motherhood and much more. But first off, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a woman who has not arrived, but is focusing on continuing my walk with God to create a journey for my daughter's legacy and also to inspire other people who just need to know that you can keep going after the storm.
Gotcha. And you have faced the challenges of this, but go a little bit more detail of that because you mentioned that you lost your daughter, and that's a very challenging thing for I think any kind of family, especially the mother. But what was it like, and then how did you progress to the healing process? So that now that because you were talking earlier, how now it's gives you joy, and a lot of people like joy. So help the audience understand on that.
Well, first off, I found joy where totally God. I had to really reach out to God and I had to find the scripture that says the joy of the Lord is my strength. I had to really read that over and over until I truly believed it. Um, I would say losing a child is the most devastating thing that can ever happen. I've lost family members, I've lost friends, but it's nothing compared to losing a child. Um, the journey in the beginning was rough because my identity was within my daughter. That's all I knew because I had her when I was a teenager, when I was 19. So we grew up together. So I didn't know anything else. So losing her, I felt like, who was I? And once I lost her, I had to learn how to grieve. I had to learn how to let go. I had to learn how to reach out for help when I needed help. And I think in that process is when I learned that my purpose was not just for to take care of my daughter and then bury her and then just be considered a woman who lost her daughter. It's more than just that. I'm more than the lady who lost her daughter. I'm more than the woman who went through grief and just learning that you can find joy in any situation, and that's just where I'm at right now.
Right. And you had so many lessons into that um, from reaching out for help, the healing process, and just moving on, moving forward. And now that is your wife. And now your daughter has actually just founded a lot of different things in your life so that you can reach more people that need that help as well. So tell us more about the foundation because I know your daughter's a center point of everything. And kind of give me a little sample or a little teaser of what you got in store in the future.
Well, I'm super excited that I am an author, and it's because of my daughter. Um, my book will be coming out soon, When Heaven is So Close to Home. And it's actually just my daily journals of what we went through, whether if it was a social media post, whether it was I was having a bad day and I needed somebody to tell me it was going to be okay.
Okay, pause right there because that's right there is powerful. Because blogging about your life, you never know who's watching, and somebody needs to hear that. So I'm glad that you are doing that, and just from this live, people are going to be more inspired to tell about their story as well. Yes. You keep going?
So, after years of saying I'm gonna write a book, and I had written a book. I was just sitting on it because I felt like I had more to offer to the book, not knowing that everything that I went through, I had already written it down while I was going through the journey.
So it just made it that easier.
Yeah,
it was already there.
Yeah. So so I'm excited about that, and that's going to be my first dedication to my daughter. I hope to start working on my juice company in my daughter's name. Um, Basically, the last of her days, she had cardiomyopathy, which is a heart problem. She has severe heart failure, and we were using juice to try to help promote healthy heart. Well, at that time, it was too late for her, but now I feel like it was too late for her. It was time God needed her, and so now I can create a juice, a healthy juice, whether it's for promoting healthy heart, just having energy, so that other people can get the benefits of healthy juicing. The foundation, I just want to create a foundation where I'm able to be a support to parents who have lost kids, who have kids that, my daughter had a disability. She had cardiomyopathy, she had cerebral palsy, she had a trach, she had so much going on. So I just want to be a support to other parents that are going through the same situation, to let them know it's okay, you can do it.
Yes, and it all starts with the mind. And when you put your mind to it, you can overcome so many different things, and especially with your faith in God and much more. And that just push everything like to a whole nother level. When you just believe in what you're seeing in sight, you're limited. But when you have your faith go beyond that, anything is possible. And going something else that we were talking about earlier, which is going to be an impact for the audience, is you were talking about it's all about taking care of what's in the inside as well. So we all may look great on the outside, but you also got to take care of the inside. So enlighten them a little bit more on that.
Okay, well, before my daughter passed away, she was waiting for me to release her. So I remember the night before she passed away, I whispered into her ear and I said, Lauren, whenever you are ready to go to heaven, mom will be okay. And so literally the next day she passed away. So okay meant that I was going to take back control of my health. Okay meant that I was going to take, control of mentally, physically, and spiritually. Um, I was almost 500 pounds at that time when my daughter passed away. And I was struggling. I was slowly dying myself, not on top of a major accident where I ripped my spine and it was almost paralyzed.
So I felt like a lot of things was just built on top
Yeah,
of each other.
yeah. So I decided to get some additional help, and do weight loss surgery. And, sometimes people are like, oh, you shouldn't do weight loss surgery because this can happen. But I decided to do what was good for LaCoshia, not what anyone else said. And I've lost almost 200 pounds. I still have a little bit to go, but I'm healthier and I'm keeping my promise to my daughter.
Yes. And wait a minute. So this is going to be a real big one for other people here. Is you got to do what is good for LaCoshia.
Yes.
You got to take care of yourself, and if you don't take care of yourself, you're out the game.
Right.
So I want you to go ahead and tell more about that because I think that's very important. Because of course we will always want to serve others and do a lot of great things, but you can't do all those great things and save and impact so many people, other lives, if you're not there to actually complete the mission. So go ahead and dive into that.
I would say taking care of yourself, especially for me, it meant grieve whenever I wanted to grieve. Don't let anyone dictate on how you should grieve, when you should grieve, how long you should grieve, because everybody's different, And I just felt like I had to do what I needed to do when it was time for me to grieve, when I needed my alone time. You know, it was a blessing to have people and friends around to help and support you through the journey, but I had to heal for my own self. My friend couldn't help me heal, and I had to build that connection with God because that was the only person that I knew that could totally help me through this journey and carry me through this journey because, I always reminded myself when I got down, I always reminded myself of the scripture where he talks about, well, he says the footprints, it's the footprints in the sand. And he said, where were you when there's only sand, where were you? And he said, when there's only one footprint in the sand, that is when I'm carrying you. And so that was one of my to go to, like when I felt that I couldn't go on anymore because it's the heart. It's hard to have a child, bury your only child. When I tell you, closing that casket is the most painful thing you could ever do.
It felt like a chapter being closed.
Yes. But I do remember as I was closing the lid on the casket, I remember hearing, "You just done the hardest thing you will ever have to do in life, and you can conquer anything." So that right there, it made me stronger. I thought that when my daughter died, I would I would die inside. But when she died, it was almost like a reverse. I started living again because I felt like not only was I living for myself, I was living to continue her legacy. Because people need to know that even in the midst of the storm, even in the midst of things looking ugly or the situation not looking that great, that you can overcome. You can walk through it. You can get up and you can smile again. You can live again. And so I just feel like I'm at a good place in my life where someone needs to know that need to hear my story. Need to know that you can survive after the storm.
Yes. And it's what when you overcome the storm and you're going through the storm is when you actually have the biggest victory, because you're learning so many lessons along the way, and you're building yourself into the future you, the one that you're destined to be. But you wouldn't be able to get to that person without over having obstacles or challenges in front of you. It's always after you overcome those things, overcome those lessons, and become the person that you destined to be. And it's just impacting and inspiring to so many other people. That's all about the story. And right now you're encouraging other people to tell their story as well, from the vlogging, writing, and much more, because we all have a voice.
Yes, yes.
So, what were some of the fears that you faced in the beginning before you put your voice out there? Because I'm pretty sure there was a lot of people who say like, "Oh, I want to put my story out there, but I don't know, maybe not. I may not have the impact in the story." So, what would you tell them?
I would say the fear was my story wasn't good enough. I felt like, oh, I'm not the only one going through it. So what does my story? But the thing about it is, no, I may not be the only one going through it, but I possibly could be the only one telling the story. And whoever else may need to hear that you can overcome. And sometimes we are afraid to put out. Because I remember my prayer was, God, please use my daughter and I. Use our journey to be a blessing to somebody else. The thing that I didn't realize is that when the things got tough, when I knew that my daughter was slowly declining, when I knew she was about to pass on, I didn't want to be used by it. I'm like, okay, God, we can close it now. You don't have to use me now because it's almost over.
Mm-hmm.
And even after her passing on, I felt like, okay, well, Lord, I don't have nothing else to talk about. Her journey is over. She's with you. So, but He's like, no, I still need to use you. I still need to use. People need to know that I'm their source and that they need me. And so that's what has really just kept me to be a voice. I've always my daughter, she couldn't talk. So I was always her voice. I was always the one who had to fight in school for what she needed or get extra help for her or whatever
the
she
mom will
needed.
put her foot
Yeah.
down too.
Yeah. So I still feel like I'm still her voice. I'm Lauren's voice. I'm her legacy. She's still living through me because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't this journey would have never happened.
Yep. It goes makes you think like everything happens for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
even though it may not go in the exact direction. I mean, life is interesting in
Right.
general. It's like we may have expectations to do something, but then life does its own little pathway. But at the same time, you still get to where you need to be,
Yeah.
and that's it's like the the moment that you just really have to like really grasp all of that.
Yeah.
It's like I want to do it this way, and life's like, nah,
Yeah.
this is even better because with what just happened, one loss saved so many,
Yeah.
and that is the one thing that's going to be very impacting and part of you carrying her legacy by helping so many others. So even with that, even more to give more value to the people, if if you could talk to the mother, or let's say the mother who just through that situation, what would you tell her to give her some encouragement to keep moving forward?
I would say I am her. I am you. I am the mother who has went through the journey. I am here. There is help. I'm here to help you. And also just to stay focused on yourself. In the midst of grieving, you can't help anybody else if you're in the midst of it. You can't be totally 100%. You have to really work on you first. before you allow yourself to try to help anybody else. Most definitely spend time with yourself, spend time with God, reach out to people when needed, because there are times that you know, my goal was to never allow depression to overtake me, because it's so easy. It's so easy to get into that moment of, oh my goodness, I just had to give my child back. So the most important tool was God, but you also need people who will hold you through it. I had people who held me through. I had people. There were times, even with me knowing God. Some people think just because you're a Christian, you don't feel that same pain, or your faith is supposed to be stronger. Or no, you still gonna feel that same pain.
We're all human beings. The
Yeah,
same thing. You will
yeah.
have ups and
Like
downs.
Christianity don't take the pain away.
We
You
do
know,
wish it did, though.
yeah, yeah, but it will connect you to the source to help you get through it, but you're still gonna feel it. You're still gonna feel everything that goes on with losing a child. So I would say to hold on to the source, which is God. I would say reach out when needed, back when needed, but also know that you'll see your baby again.
That was loaded. But that's definitely the words that a mother needs to hear, because there's time, like me speaking on it is only going to do so much, but you actually went through it, so it's going to be that more, because they can relate a lot more. So I'm glad that you did speak on to that and much more. So I want to hit on this. So for the people who are, let's say, wanting to tell their journey and death and much more, um, what is some of the things that kept you going? Because I know you mentioned like support group and much more, but what are some of, I guess to put it more exactly, what are some of the habits that keeps you going? Because I think habits keep you into a routine.
Writing. I think, there's a scripture that says, write the vision, make it plain. And I couldn't really see where was going until I wrote it down. As long as you just keep it here and just say, I'm going to do it, you just keep saying it. I said that for like 4 years. But when you actually write it down and you see, you have a vision, you can see. And then another thing was people reaching out, knowing that I was needed. We all want to know, we all want to feel like we're needed. And, so there were times that I would post something on social media and I would post it at the right time. Someone would inbox me and say, you know what, I feel like giving up today, or I feel like taking my life.
And you just say somebody else,
And
like telling your
yes,
story.
by my pain. And I had to really look at it that my pain was actually for a purpose.
And that's the key thing right there, your purpose. And by sharing your pain, you help other people's heal. So this is one of the things that I feel like hits a lot of us, male or female, is being vulnerable and open to accept the help. Because I know during this time, a lot of us like to be independent. Oh, I'm good, especially guys. But especially when you're going through something traumatic like that, it's very good to be open so that you can allow people to help you. So tell the audience the importance of being open to accept the help and how it can actually help you with the healing.
I would say it's the most important thing you can do is get help. I know in my culture, we were always told you keep everything in the house
Built up.
and pray about it and give it to God. And don't get me wrong, that's true. You give it to God, but not everything is for the house, because the house couldn't get me to where I am now after burying my baby. You have to get the help you need, and I think that's even whether it's with mental illness, with anything that's going on in your life, you have to grab a hold of somebody, because I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own. Like,
We all need somebody at the end of the
yeah,
day.
yeah. So I would just say get help, whether it's a friend that you confide in, that will support you. You need a support, or even a support group. That's my goal, to be able to create a support group where even if we just come in on once a month and just say, I need to talk, I need to get this out. I'm feeling, because there were times that I just felt like my friends, they had their kids and I didn't have mine. And I couldn't go to my friends and just be like, I'm sad because you got your kids and I don't have mine. So we need to create a space where we're comfortable to say what we truly feel. And that is one of the things that I'm working on next with my next book. And it's what to expect when the unexpected happens. And it's basically, we have all these books telling us about what to expect when we're having a baby, what to expect during the first and the second trimester. But we don't have a book that tells us what to expect when we have to give our baby back to God and you have to go to your best friend's baby shower the next week and
Talking now.
we don't have that. And I want to create a space where we're comfortable enough to say how we feel, because when you're comfortable enough to say how you feel and what you feel, that is when you heal.
I think that's a good way to pretty much close it out. Because it is about like, and then like the main thing is letting go so that you can heal.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you can impact so many others on a whole nother level. So with that, where can they reach you at? What kind of social media and all that so they can support all the great movements? You have groups, so what this is your time to just spit all that out.
My page is Awakening at Love, Faith, and Miracles. The Lawrence Walk with Faith. That is where our journey started almost 4 years ago, from the time that they put us on hospice to the time the Conroe Police Department honored her as a cop for a day. Friends and family came together and did a Sweet 16 party for her. But it's Awakening at Love, Faith, and Miracles. And basically, you'll see our journey. You'll see my journey now. And actually things that we're going to do in the future, because I have plans for doing some things in the community and just really just being a blessing to people and using my daughter's legacy to be a blessing.
Awesome, awesome. So you make sure that you support this powerful woman in her journey as she impacts so many lives and much more. That's how we elevate people and help people take it to the next level. It's your host, Chris Holmes, as always. And again, I have my special guest by the name of
LaCoshia Williams.
Awesome. Make sure you subscribe, share, comment, and keep everything going, because that's how we learn from everybody's stories and impacting others. So make sure you keep doing it and take it to the next level. Peace.